All right, everyone. Welcome to Drinks with Johnny. Today, I'm joined by the guys behind Are You Kidding TV, Joey and Steven. How the hell are you guys doing today?
Oh, we're doing amazing.
Absolutely incredible.
Such a pleasure to be here, man.
Oh, dude, I'm doing great. It's a beautiful Friday morning that we're recording this on. Where are you guys coming to me from?
So we're in Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee. Okay, and is that where you guys started this whole Are You Kidding TV thing? Or I know you guys did it originally in college years ago. It didn't take off, and until you guys started posting on TikTok later, and then now you're back on YouTube and TikTok, and I'm sure a few other things that we'll get into. But were you guys going to school in Tennessee when you guys started this originally, or where were you guys going to school at?
Yeah, so we went to school in North Carolina. We went to Elon University. It's like a smaller private school in North Carolina, and that's where we met. And that's where we started filming the videos, like you said earlier. We graduated. I stayed in North Carolina. He went back to Boston, and then 2 years went by. We started posting those old videos onto TikTok during COVID, and then they just randomly started to take off. So then we decided to move to Nashville. His brother was living there, and we would visit. It's always a fun time. So
yeah, good to be in the same area since we're doing this now.
Yeah, it just made sense to be in the same city
instead of traveling to meet up every couple of weeks to make videos.
Yeah. I mean, so you guys are in Nashville now. You're still doing your thing. I saw you guys on an ABC interview from last year. A lot's happened from that interview to now. Obviously. It seems like you guys' channel has grown. The production value has grown a little. Well, not necessarily, I guess, in the sense of when I say production value, a lot of people would think like camera work and stuff like that. I wouldn't necessarily say that, but definitely the prizes that you guys give out and everything. I guess as I'm saying it, I realize I should probably explain a little bit more, or let you guys explain a little bit more what you do to some of the listeners that are here today. That may not know exactly what Are You Kidding TV are. Maybe they live under a rock, or maybe they're like me and they're over the age of 30 and they don't really know what this shit is all about.
That's fair. So you want to explain it?
Yeah. So our main shtick is that we stand on a college campus or somewhere in public with a sign with a challenge, and we basically stand there silently wearing sunglasses, and strangers will walk by, and if they complete the challenge that we lay out there, they'll win either a cash prize or a physical prize or anything that the sign says. So that's our basic our format that we do.
Yeah, so I guess and you guys worked with this guy too, similar to like a MrBeast kind of vibe. I mean, he's got a little bit more time under his belt doing this, and a lot of big sponsors and stuff. So I mean, they go a little bit more elaborate, and I want to get into your guys' collaboration with him a little bit later. But yeah, I found it really interesting when I'm watching this stuff, because I came from a generation where I guess you might find that on TV, but they'd always make you do stupid shit for it before, not like a competition, and it'd be like a game show is like the only comparable thing, whereas now you have TikTok, you have YouTube, you have all these avenues where you guys are able to, I mean, I guess it's silly stuff. I wouldn't say stupid shit, because I do see that you guys have you gave out a MacBook Air a couple years ago, I guess now, and you had mac and cheese involved, you had Air somehow involved, and apples involved.
Yeah, I think there's so many prank and challenge videos out there that are based around messing with someone or pranking someone, where the person on the receiving end is not happy about it. So our thought process is we want to do something that's exciting and engaging for the person involved and the viewer watching, but it's not going to ruin their day. It's going to brighten their day, and also we're giving them a prize too.
Yeah, so they're choosing to do it too. So they could just walk by us and not choose to intervene.
It's all up to them. We're just facilitating a reaction. We're not forcing anything.
Yeah, I was curious about that when we get into just creating these videos in general. I got to imagine, at least at the beginning, and maybe it's lesser now, but how many times you get people just kind of look and have no idea who you guys are, and just keep walking and being oh, what's this scam about? Because I got to imagine, for me, prior to my knowledge of you guys, I would see that in a park and be the hell out of here. Where's the scam at, right? Because I mean, everyone's, to your point though, everyone gets a little pessimistic and jaded about things. where's the prank? Where's the camera? Why am I getting pranked? Whereas you guys are going a little bit more wholesome and positive with it, right?
Sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. We started doing like hidden camera stuff in college where we would just like go, it's still like more like friendly and wholesome, but like messing with people, walking away mid conversation, or like pretending to be a fake waiter in a library. And
Wait, a waiter in a library? Why would there be a waiter in a library?
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean,
the reactions were probably.
I would bring a menu to someone like studying, be like, "Hey, I'm Joey. I'm here to help you today. Like, what can I get you started with?" And it'd be like cheeseburger, French fries on this menu, and they'd be like,
Rad.
They're just there doing their homework, and they're like, "Wait, why is there a waiter here?" But
I mean, I would take it. I would take you guys up on it if I was.
I
Give
mean,
me a fucking cheeseburger. I got to sit here anyway.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like definitely the college campuses, when we go now, at least the most people there know who we are at this point. But we still go to public areas like beaches or like parks, and there are people who walk by, kind of like you were saying, like what's going on right now. So it's kind of nice to get the best of both when we're filming.
Yeah. Some videos are better when people don't know who we are. And other videos, like if we want a lot of action, a lot of running around, it's better if like they do know who we are. So we kind of try to like gauge our challenges based off of where we're going to film. If we're going to be filming in like a public area where there might be a lot of people who may not be on TikTok, not be very aware of who we are, then we could do challenges that are different, like our press the button video, right?
Yeah.
Where we just stand there with a button and just the sign says press the button. Whereas like if someone knew who we are, they would immediately press the button.
Yeah, running over to press it.
Yeah, so what you're saying is like that would be like when you're on the streets or somewhere else, and then I do love the frenzy you guys set up. I'm glad you brought that up too. When you guys are on obvious college campuses, I mean, there's a couple that look like you've been to quite a few times. I don't know if do you guys feel comfortable disclosing what locations you're filming at, or do you keep that safe so that it's more of a surprise for the participants?
I mean, we do like to keep it a little like a surprise. So
we never say when we're filming,
yeah.
So I don't see an issue.
We'll show up. I mean, people might see us like getting ready, so then they'll know we're here, and then text their friends or whatever. But we try not to announce days before when we're
Right.
So, I mean, like over the summer, it's hard. Like classes aren't in session, so we film like around Nashville. So like we'll film on Broadway sometimes. We'll film over in Centennial Park down the street, and then once the semesters kick back in the fall, then like we'll basically go around to different schools. We love going back to Elon where we went to school. And then we always try to just check out new campuses. Everyone's like in the comments section, like come here, come there. So we try to make as many people happy as we can.
Sure.
Well, I love the college ones. We'll get into the college ones first then. Because I was watching all these videos for like the last 24 hours before I knew you guys were coming on the show. I was just watching on YouTube. I don't have TikTok yet. Sorry, guys. The show does. I haven't used it yet. Maybe you guys could help me out after this with TikTok because I'm such a layman on it. Like I don't know what to do. And my wife's got it. She sends me videos of housewives and talking shit on their husbands all the time with quick little videos and stuff, and it's real fun and all. But that's about my extent of knowledge on TikTok. So maybe you guys could help me there. Anyways, I digress. So I was watching all these videos, and as I was saying, the college ones, you could tell, like, obviously you could tell when the college kids are around and it's like you got the frenzy going. One of the ones that kind of disturbed me, though, I got to be honest, was there was a pool that you guys had set up and an invisible key was thrown in there and they had to go find it. Now, none of that is like the crazy part to me. What I found particularly disturbing is there was a student that went in wearing her socks.
Yes.
And I was like, for so many reasons, I thought that was so wrong. Number one, if you're going to feel around for a key, how are you going to do that with socks on your feet? Number two, who goes in a pool with socks on their feet? I want to know, did you have any interaction with this person that obviously by your facial reaction, you know exactly who I'm talking about?
Yes.
There's, trust me, plenty of comments saying the exact same thing.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I didn't notice till the editing process.
Yes.
So we're just there. Like sometimes we don't notice things until after we go to edit them, but we noticed that right away. And then, same thoughts as you.
That video, speaking of MrBeast earlier, so that was originally going to be the MrBeast collab. We were going to have the key open up the briefcase, and then it was going to be coordinates to where MrBeast was, and then he was going to be there with money. But scheduling things got mixed up, like literally the hour of the challenge. So They just let us use the pool. Shout out to the Beast team for doing that.
Which is really cool.
And so we kind of just made it into our own thing. But yeah, socks in the pool, I wouldn't recommend.
It'd be my choice.
And definitely am judging you if you go in the pool with socks on.
Right? If you come over to my house for a pool party and you jump in the water with your socks on, you either have to have A, been up at the bar for a really long time first, or B, you got to leave. Like
you have to explain yourself. You can't just like go in there without saying anything.
It is stuff like that though, that when we see it, we're putting that in because we know the comments are going to.
Oh yeah.
You got it. I mean, it's not, why would you take that out? Like that's like, I mean, that was the first thing after watching hours of the other videos, I was like, that was eye popping. I was like, yeah, that's something different right there. And speaking of different, I do like that you guys like, one of the questions is what's different about how we're doing this today? And because obviously you guys are reoccurring at different colleges and stuff. You probably run into a lot of the same people, I would imagine, right?
Maybe like at Elon because we film there maybe like once or twice a semester.
Yeah, we tend to go there.
But the what's different, like, I think a lot of people like that. We kind of just did it randomly one time, but a lot of people kind of enjoyed seeing that recurring segment.
I think it's a mixture of people who have seen this before in person, or even just people who have watched this before.
Yeah.
And like, oh wait, they think back to watching our videos. What's different about this situation than normal? So we like to think of new ideas that kind of change it up a little bit and see if anyone notices.
My favorite one of those switch ups, though, I just want to give a shout out to this one. Everyone at home listening or watching this, make sure they go check out Are You Kidding TV if you haven't already. Probably have, and that's why you're here. But for those who haven't, go ahead and go check it out because it's really fun and interesting. And I can't wait to get a little bit more deep into it. But I want to give a couple shout outs to some of the episodes I saw. And on this one where you did something different, I found it hilarious how many people didn't get it right off the bat where you guys were actually talking to them. And you're like, what's different? And like, oh, obviously you don't really watch the show. And they're like interacting. I was like, well, they're talking. This is the only one that they're talking.
Yeah, we thought that was going to be like a much quicker
and people who walked up to us clearly have seen us before, but they just couldn't put it together.
We kind of like, we tried to talk like very like nonchalantly, like kind of helping them out. Maybe they thought that like that's what we always do. Maybe we just cut it out or something. I don't know. But yeah, we thought that was going to be an easy one.
Yeah, people bring that one up a lot when we see people in public. Like the one where you guys are talking, I knew it right away, and I can't believe no one knew it. So
yeah, some of the other ones I didn't catch. It took me until like someone actually got it, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize that was different. My bad. But no, you just brought up a point that I wanted to ask a little bit more about, like behind the scenes of making these videos and stuff, and how much you said. How much time you thought it would take for someone to get that. Now, how has it been? Like, I know it's got to be hit or miss. You only go out and do one challenge, right? Once that challenge is done, you're done for the day, right? I imagine, or are you doing multiple stuff?
Go for it.
Well, so we usually will film like at least 2, maybe 3 videos every time we go out. Sometimes 4. It just depends. And what we do is we bring different changes of clothes, and we'll change outfit every time, just so it looks like it's a different day. Not that people would care, but
we'll try to make sure people who were there before kind of leave, so like new people.
Yeah, we wait a little bit for everyone to go away. But what happens sometimes, if we're at a college where a lot of people know us, they'll start to like wait around the side, and we'll have to be like, guys, would you mind like waiting a little bit?
We need fresh people in here.
Yeah, like, it sucks telling someone like if they were in the last video, like you know that they're going to be like in the video, but they didn't win, and like telling them like, hey, can you please, like, would you mind not being in the next one? It sucks saying that.
Hard. I mean, if I put myself in their shoes, I'd be like,
yeah, I would be mad, but like,
totally wait a minute, I just missed a chance at winning a new iPhone 14. Now you're going to give away $2,000. I need to be a part of that.
If we know if they're in the next video, the comments are going to complain. Like, weren't they in the previous?
They're going to think that we staged it or something. I think they're actors.
So nice balance.
Yeah, it's tough sometimes, but everyone, we try to make it best for everyone.
Yeah, do our best.
So I guess in that question I had, it's a little bit more to it. How much time does it usually take per challenge? I mean, obviously it would vary, right? I mean, you guess, sometimes someone walks up, knows your guys' deal, knows what to do, kind of figures it out right away. What are some of the times, though, that you've been out there just waiting and waiting for someone to figure it out and get it done? And furthermore, have you ever had ones that you filmed and no one got it and you had to just scrap?
So I think it's always worked out. I can't think of an idea that hasn't.
We have a little saying, like, even if it's lasting longer than usual, right. Like, it always works out.
Oh yeah.
So
far so good. I mean, I think I have two examples in mind. One of them was we were standing at Centennial Park in Nashville, and the sign said, "First person to bring us a cake gets like $200." And there was like no grocery store or anything around the area. We probably should have planned that in advance, but I think we were out there for an hour and a half in the sun, just waiting.
Like middle of July, it was like 100 degrees.
Then
that doesn't sound fun.
I forget where they went, but the other one was we did one, give us your mom for 24 hours, where we'd like gave their mom.
Wait. You guys are like way more wholesome than me. So like when you say that to me, my mind goes in like straight to the gutter. Like I'm just thinking about
like that's the intro is first person to give us your mom for 24 hours. And like, we kind of want people to be like,
get their attention. Like what's going on? But yeah, we just like took someone's mom out for like dinner, went to the arcade.
Spa. We gave her a spa day, went shopping, like very wholesome things.
Yeah. But the thing about that one is we had the spa like appointment already booked.
Yeah.
So, and like we had things ready to go. And we waited again, like over an hour, and no one like at that day, no one was doing it. And we had the appointment in like 20 minutes. We're like, is this not going to work out? And then finally someone just did it last second, got it done. And
it was a great video.
Wow. Yeah. Great video.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, I could imagine. I thought it might actually, when you're telling me like an hour and a half, yeah, that's seems like a long time, but at the same time, like I could imagine it taking like all day sometimes, you know what I mean? But like,
I think
I'm glad that it happens a little faster.
I think that's the max. It's been an hour and a half.
It could take like 10 minutes sometimes. Sometimes they go really fast. It really depends on what the challenge is.
And how are you guys setting up to record? Because obviously you have the faraway shots for the most part, but you also have some close-up stuff. Do you guys have a third guy running cams for you, or are you guys setting up tripods far away? What's the technical side of it?
Sure. So the tripods it's not always the same. It's maybe about like 50 yards away, maybe a little bit more. And we have someone always on the cameras, usually my cousin, Derek, who's on camera. And what we do now, it wasn't always this way, but we have 3 cameras right next to each other. And one is shooting really, really wide, one shooting like a little bit tighter, and one shooting really tight on us. So it's all from the same angle. So we try to make it look like it's one shot, one angle, but we're able to zoom in really close, and it still looks crystal clear because we're using the tight camera
rather than a digital zoom, which always ends up pixelated.
Or if it's someone that's like way off to the left, we can use the wide shot, and it still looks not like super pixelated. Like when we first started, we'd use one camera super wide. So if we want to do a close up on us, it would look like so grainy. Right. So we actually graduated to 2 cameras, and then now we use a 3 camera setup.
Awesome. And then now I know earlier on you guys I would imagine you guys had to come up with the gifts and stuff yourself, especially starting out. Are you guys now at the point where you guys have a fair amount of sponsorships or people that are giving you that cash or whatever product it is? And if so, who are some of the ones that you guys are working with?
Yeah, so for the most part, we'll work with sponsorships and they'll pay us just the money, and then we'll just invest a good amount of the money back into the company or the videos, and that's how we'll afford to give out the money or the prizes. But what are some examples of people we work with?
We've done we recently did something promoting Dungeons and Dragons movie. We like took someone to the premiere. That was really cool.
Plenty of Fish dating app, Dr. Pepper, Cash App.
Okay. See, now that you guys are mentioning the sponsors, I'm realizing that I saw some of them built into the episodes too, or the videos. I don't know if you call them.
Yes,
So the only videos that are sponsored are the ones that we actually say the brand name, and we try to incorporate the brand or the product into our videos. And then we like just use the money that we make from the sponsorship to fund all like the normal videos, like What's Different and Give Us Your Mom for 24 hours or whatever.
I like that one just keeps coming up because
you gotta go watch that one after this.
I am. I don't know how I missed that one because that would have been my first question. Like I want everyone at home. Like we have a filthier demographic over here. What would you do with someone's mom for 24 hours? Put it down here in the comments for me. What have I done with somebody's mother for 24 hours? I don't know. But It's funny. So at this point, I'll come back to the Plenty of Fish one because I have a good question on that one. But at this point, are you guys able to do this full time now, or is this like your bread and butter? You guys still have other jobs, still going back to school, or what's the I don't know what the word I'm looking for is here, but what's your guys' status on this?
At this point, we're both full time, and also his cousin is also full time working for us. So we have
awesome.
We're doing well enough where we can support ourselves, which is great.
That's the dream right there. And you got a real sick rug going on back there behind you too. I mean, that's something you definitely found in Nashville, right? I mean,
it was a gift from my cousin who's our cameraman. He gave me this rug. It's funny. It's cowhide, and I'm vegan, so it's
well, it's faux cowhide, right?
Yeah, it looks like cowhide.
So you guys mentioned Plenty of Fish, which I'm not super familiar with. I understand it's one of the dating apps, I imagine, right? And there was something about finding 5 dicks in a video, and then you briefly explain what a Richard is, but I need a little bit more detail on what a Richard is, because I mean, obviously a dick, but is that like something like when you're in these dating apps, if they get rated as pretty poorly, do they become a Richard? Is that what I'm to understand?
I think it was just a campaign from the app, and they kind of made a play on words, like because dick is obviously short for Richard. Mm-hmm. The name said they're like, oh, these are the only, like, don't send a dick pic of like your penis, like only send a picture of yourself if your name is Richard. So they set up pictures in the subway in New York, and they just told us to make a challenge up with that. So that's what we came up with. Yeah, we were a little like, should we do this at first? But we thought it was like funny enough where like we thought our audience would think it's acceptable for our page. Not too far of a line. And it was a funny video.
I thought it was great. I just wasn't sure if there was something I was missing, and I thought like that was like a term for kids always coming up with these new terms now for people. I'm walking around. Am I a Richard? I don't know. I don't know what's going on here.
No, it was new to us too. So,
well, that's fun. So, with all this like positivity and wholesomeness to you guys' show, it begs the question: like, what kind of upbringing did you guys each have? Like when you're growing up, is this something that you guys you have a strong moral compass from an early age, or are they not really coinciding with one another? But what?
That's a good question.
Why don't you just go? Each of you just tell me a little bit about your upbringing and how it brought you to the scope of work you're doing today.
Sure. Yeah. So I grew up in Massachusetts most of my life. And ever since I was little, I have a twin brother, and he and I both loved making like YouTube videos back when it first, like 2008. So near the beginning of YouTube. Mm-hmm. And that kind of got me really into videography. And eventually I went to Elon University and studied cinema and TV. So that was kind of showing that I want to keep pursuing my passion. And then that's how I met Joey. He was on the same hall as me freshman year, also the same major. So that's kind of how we got into making these videos.
Yeah, kind of similar for me. Like I grew up in Cary, North Carolina, and like Steven, like whenever I got like a video camera, like a video recorder, whatever you would call it, with like the little tapes for like my 12th birthday or something. And I would just like go around at like family get-togethers and like neighborhood parties and just like film everything, be in everyone's face. And I remember in high school, if there was ever like an essay I had to write, I was like, I'd go up to the teacher like, hey, can I like make a video instead? Because like I don't want to read this book. There was a Huckleberry Finn assignment. Like I did not want to read that book, and I was like, hey, can I just make a Huckleberry Finn video? And so I never read it. I just like dressed up like Huckleberry Finn and just acted
Wait. So you did a video on a book that you never read?
Yes.
How?
Well, I knew
how good did this video come out? I'm just curious, if you don't know anything about, how do you dress as Huckleberry Finn if you've never read the book?
That's a great question. And I basically dressed like a hillbilly, I guess you would say, and spoke like one, I guess, very, very Southern. Like
so you went stereotypical on it. You went as stereotypical as you possibly could.
Very much so. I probably wouldn't post that today in this day and age.
Oh, please find the video and send it to me later so I can post it with this video.
Actually,
we ended up making another Huckleberry Finn video in college. It might still be on our page.
It might be
maybe
on the
private.
page.
I don't know. But if you want to go scroll down, you might see one.
Oh, I'm looking. Oh, I'm looking for that.
But yeah, we, you know, I loved filming things because, like, for me, I guess I was always afraid of like forgetting a moment. So like, if I was at the beach with family, I would always be like filming things because I didn't want to forget that. And so I guess my love for filming things started with like not wanting to forget. And then so when I got to college and met Steven, we both bonded on having, you know, made these little videos growing up. And that's kind of how we started to join forces.
Wow, that's awesome, man. So when you say you'd like to, you didn't want to forget things, are you also like, do you go back and watch a lot of these videos, like from your home videos? I know during editing, you guys have to go back over these videos several times over to get
Sure.
the art achieved. But when it comes to like, even before that, do you guys go back and watch the same home videos or even movies rather? Let's bring it up into everything. You guys went to school for cinema. Movies, TV shows, are you a repeat watcher? Or are you someone who like watches a movie once, says it was great, and then never sees it again? Or where do you guys lie on that?
I say I'm a big repeat watcher. I'll watch like the same movie 15 times and never get bored of it.
Yeah, I watch too many movies like again and again, and then someone's like, "Have you seen this?" I'm like, "No."
Too busy watching.
I'm too busy watching the movie from 2004 that I've been watching.
You already know.
You know you're gonna love it.
Yeah.
It's like a little less risky.
But there is something great about watching something new and fresh, obviously.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, I love finding new movies as well, but I think I'm more like you guys. I am a rewatcher. I mean, countless times I've watched the movie Tombstone. My listeners know it's like my favorite movie of all time, to the point where I could quote it without it being on next to me. Yeah. Like I can from front to back. So I'm more of that as well. So I don't like to miss things. But where do you think that love for, or that not really that love, that fear of, I guess, missing out of not being able to remember things came from? Like, is there something earlier on before that maybe that led you to think that way?
That's, it's a really good question. I should probably ask my therapist that.
Yes. No, don't let the host of Drinks with Johnny.
No, but I mean, it is a fear. It would be like, right. Maybe it's like when you're in these moments of like such joy and like high serotonin peaking levels, like it's almost like, it's going to go away. And it's like the fear of not feeling that, like that heartwarming and joyful moment again for a while. Like it would happen when I would see my cousins like once a year, and it would always be such like a peak. Mm-hmm. And then I know that like it would go back to this like everyday life. So it was like a fear of like just going back to just the bland normal, I guess. I don't know. I'll ask her that next time.
Yeah. Delve into that. Get back to me and let me know where the origin story is. No, but in all honesty, I think everyone could. I think most people rather can relate to that. I know I can. Just as you said, you get together. You have your get-togethers once a year usually, whether it's a holiday or seeing your family, your extended family, and stuff like that. For a lot of people, you see them once a year if you're lucky. Sometimes longer.
Yeah.
And it is that you have that fun, and then there's that immediate. Or for me, it's like after I entertain the family for Christmas or a holiday or whatever it might be, and then you start having to clean up the next day and realize that like all that preparation and all that happiness is now it's back to normal, and it just kind of deflating, like, isn't it?
It goes by in the blink of an eye. It's like I just spent all that time, and now it feels like they were never here.
Right?
Yeah. My parents used to videotape me when I was younger, and sometimes I go back and watch those videos. It's so cool to see, like, just me when I was younger. Because without those videos, how will I ever see them?
Yeah, I mean, well, that brings up a really good point, though, too. Like, 2 points really. So I'll get into your guys' parents here in a second, and give me 24 hours with your parents. But it's interesting though, because you guys are talking about the way you guys are filming stuff, and we're talking about social media and how you guys put this out is through TikTok and YouTube. Which, as we said before, 2008, YouTube wasn't even really much of a thing. But now, I'm a parent now. I got a 6-year-old kid, and I videotape a lot of stuff. My parents never videotaped a lot of stuff. We didn't have camcorders around. First of all, they were kind of expensive at the time. Second of all, we weren't privy to, phones with perfect cameras on them these days, you know, and like rather like we have these days. So I think it's just interesting, and wanted to know your guys' take on this as YouTube creators and video content creators of today, and very successful. How do you see it moving forward with everyone being able to just film whatever the hell they want and edit it and do such a good job? It really levels the playing field, right? And furthermore, as you mentioned, you were a kid getting filmed on a camcorder. Now, like, kids are getting filmed by their parents more and more and more, and they're getting more comfortable in front of a camera because they're watching themselves back more and more. How do you see the progression of that moving forward?
It's a good question.
That's a great question. Yeah.
It's weird. You know, I mean, I have home movies, but I haven't seen them in a while, but they're like maybe like every Christmas but they're all like on those tapes that I can't convert into a MP4 or whatever it needs to be. But it's kind of bizarre because, yeah, I mean, my sister, she's a new mom. I'm a new uncle, and it's weird because we take pictures and we take videos of her, and I don't know. I'm very curious to see how she'll react to seeing these old, like, crisp 4K videos of her when she's this old. Like, it's so bizarre to think about. I really have no idea.
Well, that's a point, though, too. Speaking of the formatting and everything, like, it's a crisp 4K shot, but yeah, how much better is it going to be when she's, you know, your age, or, you know, a teenager? Like what is it? Is it just, do you just plug yourself into the augmented reality and it's all in like 20K at that point? Like, what the fuck is it going to be? Like,
yeah, I don't know. It's cool to see the progression of technology. And I think it's scary sometimes, but you kind of have to just roll with the punches and, like, adapt to it, or else you're just going to fall behind. That's just the reality of it.
Right. And I like that you brought up the word scary in it too, because it can be, and I totally understand a lot of people's scare, especially with, you know, we get into AI, the hot topic in technology these days, and I have my own thoughts on it. And if you guys are comfortable talking about it, we can. If not, we'll move on. But basically, for me, I think of technology in the sense, I look at it through history, right? Every bit of technology has been fought and everyone has been scared of it because it has so many unknown factors in it. It's new every single time. And yes, more often than not, we swing the pendulum right off the bat with it and go way too fucking crazy with the technology of what it's capable of. Social media, case in point. It's completely off the rails at this point, but it starts to come back, and the pendulum swings back and forth a couple of times until we start really settling in on what this technology does for us and really understanding it. I think that's the same way with AI, and it will be. The question is, for a lot of people, is how far will it swing the other way, and will it ever come back from that way? I understand that fear too. My point to that is, like, for me, I'm not afraid of AI in the sense that everyone else is, because it's just going to be a reflection of what we've created, right? I mean, it will be able to think for itself beyond our intelligence of the three of us sitting here. But if you want to worry about its moral compass and taking us as human beings for what we are, I think you just have to be better people out in the open, right? I mean, because it's just going to mirror what it's learned from horrible places like social media and everywhere that they find stuff on the internet. So it's like, just be a better person, and they probably won't find us obsolete. Or at least it'll take a little longer for them to realize.
Yeah, I try to have an optimistic look at it and hope that it's going to be more helpful than it is hurtful to society.
I mean, AI, there's a lot of really cool things about it that could change the world in great ways. So obviously we can look at the scary things, but I think in general, it's always a good thing, in my opinion, to have these new technological advances.
Right. And it's just to me, it's just a beautiful new tool that opens up so many possibilities that, you know, and hopefully we can work hand in hand with it as a tool rather than being scared of it.
Right.
I mean, as soon as you get scared of it, and then it's going to act in fear too, just like anything else that we try and cage along our way and everything like that. Learn from our history, people. We've fucked up this several times before. Let's not fuck up this one, all right?
For sure.
But yeah, going back to the other part of what we were just talking about, filming when we were kids and stuff like that. You mentioned that. You mentioned your parents. I wanted to get into that because we covered where you guys have met together in college and created this project together that you guys have been doing for, what has it been, like 6 years now or something like that?
About 6, yeah.
Yeah, about 6.
Almost 7. Yeah.
6-7 years you guys have been doing that now. But let's go back even further for each of you. You mentioned your parents filming you when you were a kid, and that's kind of like got you into filming and everything like that. Are your parents, were they standard 2-parent, nuclear family that you were growing up with your, I know you mentioned you had a twin brother. What was the upbringing like there?
Yeah, so I have a twin brother and an older brother and my 2 parents in Massachusetts, and yeah, pretty standard upbringing. One thing is my dad and I always bonded over movies. So that was definitely something we would just like, he would show me all the classics growing up, and we'd try to watch as many. Obviously, I said I rewatch a lot, but we also tried to watch as many new movies as well. So that kind of was one stepping stone to me wanting to get into this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And when you say like classics, though, what were some of the classics he was showing you?
From like Hitchcock movies to Back to the Future to Scorsese, all these.
I like how it goes from Hitchcock and then flash forwards about 3 or 4 decades to Back to the Future.
That's what came into my head right now. But like, it's awesome.
No, it's all great. And then Scorsese, of course, you gotta. Scorsese's got a new movie coming out. I was just in the movie theater the other night, and I just saw that there's a new. It looks fantastic. I forget what it's called.
I'm blanking on it too. But yeah, definitely just all the classics, older and newer. So.
And how about you? You know what? I'm just now realizing, because I'm used to having 2 different like screens when people are on Zoom, but you guys are together. I'm not even positive which one's Joey and which one's Steven. I gotta be honest here.
Do you want to take a guess?
I'm Joey.
Okay.
Steven, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, everything you guys do, like I haven't been able to find you guys separate in anything, by the way, in all my research. And it's always Joey and Steven.
I don't really mention who's who a lot, so I totally
We don't really talk much, so I guess that's acceptable.
You don't talk at all. All right, Joey. Then, so what was your upbringing like, as far as before you even got into college and stuff? I know you mentioned you started filming when you were in high school and stuff. So what was it like before then?
I grew up, mom and dad always there for me. I was very lucky to have them as supportive as they were. I played a lot of sports, so my dad was like my right hand man, teaching me, practicing with me, oftentimes being one of the coaches on the team, or at least trying to help in some way. And then my mom was just like such a giver, such a lover, would do anything for you at any time. And my parents have since split, but still are very supportive in their own ways. And it took them a little bit to understand what I was doing with like the TikTok and the videos. Especially my dad, he was a little bit suspect of why I didn't have a real job or wasn't applying to real jobs. I'm like, just trust me, Dad. Give me a couple more months. He'd be sending me
real jobs are overrated, man. I got
he would send me Indeed articles like every day, like, "Hey Joe, what do you think about this job? What do we think about this job?" I'm like, "All right, I'll apply." And I was like not applying to any of these jobs, but just like telling him I was, because I had such faith in what we were doing that it was going to work out, and thankfully it did. And now he is a big fan.
It's hard for someone to wrap their head around making videos for TikTok, YouTube.
Yeah, and that's understandable.
Which is like, it's kind of a newer thing,
right?
But it's definitely a real thing.
No, it's yeah. I mean, it was hard for me to wrap around before I started doing this whole thing I started doing. You know, it wasn't even. It's gone through a bunch of different changes over the years, and I want to bore you guys with too much of that stuff. But like, yeah, I didn't come from that generation. So like me, I've just been learning as I go here. So I bring that up to point out that like, yeah, I feel your parents on that. Like I wouldn't know what the hell to say if I was 20 years even older than I am now. And I was like, no, you got to get a job. That's what everybody does. I mean, that would make sense. But Yeah. Oh, that brings me up to another one of the challenges you guys did was, can you call your dad and share the favorite moment with them?
Oh, yeah.
And I was curious, what do you guys think your dads would say if you were on the other side of that challenge, or what would you tell them?
What would we tell
What
them?
would we tell them?
I was thinking about that. I would probably have to say I used to do a lot of fishing with my dad. The lake, the ocean. We'd always like on weekends we would just go out, and early in the morning I just remember leaving earlier than I would usually wake up, being tired, and driving to some random river or lake, and usually not catching much, but still just like kind of bonding with him and not worrying about sports, not worrying about this or that, just kind of existing with him for an extended period of time. And that's one thing that I like to look back on.
That's beautiful.
I would say, so I'm from Boston, so big Red Sox fan. And when I was, I think, 6 or 7 years old, my dad took me to a game. We got front row seats, and they're actually playing the Twins, and it was me and my brother who were both twins. And my dad was able to get 2 balls for both of us, just foul balls that the lady handed over. So that was definitely a great memory. I think it was my first baseball game ever, which was.
That's your first baseball game ever, and you got
Each got a ball. Yeah,
that's pretty rad. That's a good. I'm sure your father loves that memory too. Like that's one under a dad's belt. Like, yeah, I did the first game right. You know.
I still have the ball in my room. So.
Oh, that's rad. That's rad. Speaking of twins, though, I had a question on that. Have you guys ever thought about bringing your twin brother in to like mess with the challenge a little bit? Like is he identical twin? I assume.
Identical. Yep.
So like, have you ever thought about like what's different? You could do like what's different about this one, but it's actually not you.
We've had that idea, and I think we'll probably should do it.
We're eventually going to do that idea.
It's been
we did one, so my cousin, who is our cameraman,
Derek, right?
Derek, yes. We look kind of. He has a similar beard, so we kind of subbed him in for me one time, and I stood by the camera. And so it was kind of a similar thing, but
that's different.
I think the switching him with his brother Ryan would be like even better.
Yeah, that would be hard. That would be a tough challenge. Like,
I think it would have to be like Elon or somewhere where everyone just knows us really well. I think.
Yeah.
We'd have to. It would be tough.
I mean, like. Yeah.
I mean, I obviously like if you know them, you obviously can tell them apart, like no problem at all. But like someone who doesn't know them, they might like be like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got twins all in my life. Some of my 2 groups of my best friends, nieces, nephews. Like I got a bunch of twins, and it is interesting. The neighbors across the street. It is interesting, like that. How that is once you get to know them, they're completely 2 different people in your eyes. You know, it doesn't even compute that they're twins after a while, right? It's like that's and then but I can remember meeting each set of twins that are still important in my lives along the way, and each time I at the beginning could not tell them apart, and now I find, and I'm the same person with the same perspective, the same eyes, and it's completely changed.
Right. Yeah, it's so funny how that works.
That's wild.
So you guys mentioned being on different campuses and stuff, and I wanted to ask about your travels too, because I did see you guys went to London and Paris so far. I didn't see it. Have there been other abroad episodes you guys been able to film?
Those are the only 2 we've done. That was in May though, so that's pretty recent. So we're hoping to
do more in the future. That was my first time in Europe or anywhere else besides like Mexico. So that was really exciting for me, just aside from filming videos, just like being over there and seeing a new perspective,
Well, I did notice that you guys went to Disneyland in Paris. I have not been to Disneyland in Paris. I've only been to the one in Tokyo, in California, then Disney World, which is in Florida. Yeah. But have you guys been to Disney parks outside of Paris before?
Yeah. Florida and LA.
Okay. So how did you find the Paris one? How did they allow you to drink wine everywhere you walked, or was it still like LA where they see it's so different? LA, you can't drink anywhere until you go over to California Adventure. You go over to Disney World, you could drink everywhere in Florida in Disney World. Yeah. I was like, this is amazing. And then in Tokyo, I believe as well, you were able to get beers most places. So I haven't been to the one in Paris. How was that?
We were like such on like work mode that
we didn't really look into that.
Yeah, but that's a good question. It felt smaller Then
It was a bit smaller.
Yeah.
The rides were really good though. Like I think some like Big Thunder Mountain was probably the best.
That was
version
better
of that
than the
ride
other ones I
I've
thought.
rode. Same with Space Mountain. I think was probably. I think it went upside down, which.
Oh yeah, the one in LA does not go upside down.
Or Florida. So
Yeah.
In general, we had a great time there. That was a good version.
What else did you? I mean, obviously everyone could go check out that episode of you guys in Paris where you gave away €1,000 to someone to show you the best day in Paris or the greatest day in Paris, right? So you got to go to the Louvre, you got to go see the Eiffel Tower, I imagine. You went and saw all the sights, right? How long were you guys there, though? Because that was one day. So how long were you guys in Paris, and what else were you able to get into? Did you, I mean, especially for you, Joey, you said it's your first time in Europe. Was it yours too, Steven? Have you been there before?
I'd been to Paris before, but besides that, that was my first time in London and Amsterdam, which we also went by.
Yes, I think it was like 4 days in London, 2 days in Amsterdam, and 4 days in Paris.
You only gave yourself 2 days in Amsterdam? How dare you?
Yeah,
you should have talked to me before that. I would have flown out with you to go to Amsterdam again. I love that city.
Part of the issue was we missed our train, our train to Amsterdam from London, so we had to book a later train. So
that took off.
Yeah, it was a late night the night before our train, but yeah, Amsterdam was probably my favorite. It was just so like serene and like it was so lively but so quiet at the same time. I feel like I've never experienced that type of atmosphere before, aside or along with the coffee shops that assisted in the atmosphere and
aren't they great though? Like it's just like it's like the perfect way. I mean, years ago, the first time I was in Amsterdam, marijuana wasn't legal in a lot of the states like it is now, obviously here. So that was my first introduction of a place that would actually like you can go through and discuss with somewhat of a sommelier what kind of high you were looking for with the pot and stuff. And it was like, well, this makes it very different. Like it's like selecting a bottle of wine at dinner. This is fantastic. You know, this is exactly what you want. You know, it makes it so much more fun and enjoyable. And then, just the streets, walking around, the canals, beautiful. Did you guys get to go on any of the canal boat rides too?
We did a little tour.
Those are a lot of fun.
Tour, but it's so fun and so beautiful there.
I almost got hit by a bike like 10 times.
Yeah, second week.
Yeah, you got to watch out for the bikes there. That's for sure. Especially after you're stumbling out of a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Did you guys try? So you did mention obviously you went to the coffee shop. Did you have space cake, or just smoke, or did you try any of the truffles?
No, we did not try any.
No,
we just checked out a couple coffee shops. I mean, I wish we could have spent at least one more day there. We did the Heineken
factory.
There's like a tour through the Heineken factory.
I haven't done that yet. That must be awesome.
That's like the first Heineken factory.
Yeah,
right?
that's where it started,
there. Yeah. So there's like a little tour, and then you get some free beers at the end. It was fun.
Dude, I gotta. You guys are making me jealous. It's been a long time since I've been to Amsterdam. I gotta get back. I'm jonesing now.
Do you guys have plans to go abroad?
Yeah, we will. We're actually, I'm 2 days away from starting our North American tour. That'll take us through most of this year, and then next year we're looking at some more abroad stuff. Or we'll be going to hopefully Europe, Southeast Asia stuff. Yeah. It'll be a bunch of stuff.
Are you glad to be like back in the swing of things?
I am. Yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah, it was a 5-year hiatus for us in between shows. I mean, we were working on albums and other things while we were home, but in between shows and touring, and that was. My son is only 6 years old, so he didn't remember the last time he'd seen me on stage. So that alone was like something I was like, yes, he's going to see what I actually do. I'm not just like this stay-at-home dad that's always up in his office, never doing anything, you know. So. It was really cool. First few shows to have him out for that, and then moving forward, I'm just excited. Like for you guys to be able to travel with what you're doing now abroad and stuff like that. That's such a cool accomplishment. And to me, I want to take my son and family more there abroad because I find. You guys are smart. You guys went to college. I didn't go to college. I learned most of my cultural things just from traveling and being out there and stuff rather than reading in a book. And I think maybe you guys could attest to this after being there. It's something different about actually traveling and being around and seeing the culture rather than just someone's hearsay of how the people are or what it's all about. And I just want to, at a young age, be able to show my son that kind of stuff and let him know just how large yet small the world is and how we're all just people, like, just rolling around, don't really know what the hell's going on. We're trying our best, and everyone's got a different walk and a different perspective. So I guess on that, I'll just segue into a question for you guys. Like, your first time out working abroad, like you're essentially on a tour, right? You're on a European tour for Are You Kidding TV. Was that kind of a surreal moment? Were you guys able to have fun with it, or as you said a minute ago, Joey, was it just so dead focused on work?
It definitely was. That was just like at the moment, because we just filmed the Paris video and the London video, and besides that, we were really just having fun. I think we were planning on filming and working a little bit more, but it just kind of turned into a fun trip with us, my cousin, his brother, and our 2 managers, and it was like such a great bonding experience and just great time overall. And I want to go back ASAP.
It was also really cool to know that there were people out there who knew who we were.
Yeah.
Like what we did. I mean, I think in Paris, we walked by and this France native came out of his coffee shop and said, "Are you guys Are You Kidding TV?" And that was when we're like, wait, he recognized us just walking down the street in France. And that was
probably the coolest like interaction.
Yeah, I
feel like that we've
I
had.
remember that.
That's rad. That actually brings me up to another thing. I'm glad you're just jogging my memory of all the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Another thing I wanted to know is, you guys are around all these different places, standing there, filming for your show, but you guys are also really close. You guys, I'd say, really close friends. I don't know if you put besties in front of that these days, but you guys are really close. Obviously, doing this since college together. I imagine you go out, you have fun together when you're not filming. You go have lunch, you walk around, maybe stand on a corner for a little too long while you're waiting for the crosswalk. Do you get people coming up and, like, when you guys aren't in the middle of filming, trying to get something out of you?
Yeah, it definitely happens. Like if we go to a bar, maybe like once or twice a night, people will come up to us and ask if we're the guys from TikTok.
Wait, you go to a bar once or twice a night?
No, like once or twice per night.
I was like, now you're speaking my language. 2 times a night, the same bar. I'm in. Once or twice a night, someone will come up and be nice with you.
Yeah. Like it comes in waves too. Like one night, like we'll go out tonight, and you never know. It could be like one person recognize us, or it could be like 5 people or 6 people, or no one. Like it's just.
It also depends on like if we just posted like a viral video. For example, I don't know if you saw the dog video where we borrowed someone's dog for 24 hours.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Okay, so that one got like 56 million views on TikTok. It went viral. And like the next night, there were like 10 people who came up to us like, "You're the guys who borrowed the dog." So it's like kind of depends on the situation too. And like
if we have a recently viral video.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess that's just like the more recognizing you. But I mean, do you ever get people who just won't take no for an answer, that you're not filming and you're actually like when you guys are together and you're just trying to like hang out? Like, is someone coming up like are you guys filming right now? Do you guys got a phone on you I can have? Like what? Like
mostly like our DMs are filled with those.
A lot of DMs,
emails, DMs, like, hey, like, and some of them are really like compelling and sad stories. Like, I would love to help out as many people as we can, but so many people will tell us like, "Hey, I'm in need. Can you help us? Or can you give me an iPhone? Or can you pay for my tuition?" And like, you obviously can't do that for everyone. So you can't pick one person to do it for.
Yeah.
So it's hard, but no one has really like berated us in person.
It's usually just like a joke if they say it. People are usually pretty respectful when they come up to us.
That's good. That's good to hear. Like, in getting into the charitable side, because I mean, you just mentioned people and hitting you guys up in your DMs and stuff, and asking for help, and I understand how that can be, like, because you do want to help, and I think you guys obviously in your videos and what you guys are doing you're obviously helping at the same time too. It's not just for your own personal gain, right? I mean, it can't be that you guys didn't start that way. It wasn't like you were making money right off the gate. So you had to want to do this for other people too, right? Can you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think when we first met and we first kind of like talked about our interests and bonded on our interests in videography and also like our similar sense of humor. We just like the idea of like randomly surprising people and randomly like making their day. And we just like, we thought that, I mean, based off of like other YouTubers we had watched in the past, and like it was just always so cool to for someone just to be living out their normal day-to-day routine, and then all of a sudden like here's some money or here's an iPhone, and all of a sudden like a smile on their face and like they're just beaming the rest of the day. And so I think that's just kind of part of the influence in what we want to do is, you know, we always want to try to lead people to have a happier a day going forward, I guess. 100%.
Yeah, I mean that's cool in it right there, and it makes me wonder because when you guys reached out, or my producer said that we got like a DM from somebody in your guys' camp or something like that to maybe do like a collab of some kind, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
well, we're just a podcast. I don't know what a collab would look like with a podcast and what they're doing, but just as you guys are talking, it's like I would love to do some kind of collab with that, like more giving. I mean, have you guys ever thought of? I mean, you guys have gone to Paris and London and Amsterdam now, and I'm not just talking about abroad. I'm just talking about where you're more on the streets. Like, have you guys discussed the possibility ever of going into a more, I don't know, poverty-stricken area? Maybe not full poverty, or maybe for safety issues, but you know, something, you know, I don't even know what the proper term is, but lower income communities and stuff. Have you guys considered going into there and doing some films out of there?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you think about who needs an iPhone, you know, going to a private university,
right? That makes sense.
Probably
but
like
what you're doing, cash or maybe finding sponsors for. I mean, I don't know, food, things of that nature, clothes, things of that nature.
I think there's definitely something that we could do in that nature, and we have discussed it a few times. I think we want to do it the right way, where it doesn't seem like we're like trying to look like a hero or anything like that. Because I don't know, there's so many critics out there, and you know, obviously you don't want to pay attention to all of them, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, one time we did a video that was like buying homeless people their favorite meals, and we went and like bought some homeless people anything they wanted, and like we thought it was wholesome. We did get a lot of criticism because people said we were exploiting them or just doing it to get views, stuff like that. But I think if we find the right way
it's like a gray area. You got to do it the right way.
Right. I definitely think I mean, and when there's a will, there's a way, right? I mean, as long as you guys think about it and stuff. And I'll just point out real quick, because I've dealt with my share of criticism over the years. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. No matter what you do, you're going to get criticized, especially in this day and age with everyone has a voice and has an opinion, and everyone should. I'm not saying that anyone should be silenced, but back to the other point of social media taking a pendulum swing, it's getting back to the point where you realize everyone's always had those opinions and critiques. You're just now seeing them for the first time. So just let it roll off your back the way it used to, as if it didn't exist. And that would be... That's advice not given to you that I try to tell myself all the time.
It's definitely human nature to focus more on the criticism than the applause, but definitely shouldn't let that get to you, for sure.
Yeah, just go into a coffee shop and forget about it. You'll be fine, you know. But, no, but back to the collaboration on stuff too. Well, maybe afterward, you and I, the three of us, can talk and figure out something cool we might be able to do together down the road. I do know you guys said you're in Nashville. I do know we're going to be going through there at some point, or somewhere close. So we'll have to get each other's contacts and stuff and work on that. But in the interest of talking collabs, we did talk about MrBeast, and you guys did a collaboration with him. You mentioned that I saw the behind the scenes video you guys said, or the day of that you guys were supposed to be filming with Jimmy, I believe his real name is, right? Yeah. MrBeast's real name, yeah. And I just had some questions. You know, I know everyone could go back and watch this video on the AreYouKiddingTV YouTube channel of them explaining the day as it went, but what did that really mean to you guys, that to get that affirmation or that acknowledgement from a MrBeast who is kind of the king at what you guys do, if you don't mind me saying, if you can collaborate or corroborate that statement with me?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was like such an honor. I mean, MrBeast has been my like probably top YouTuber I've watched for the last, I don't know, 10 years. I forget how long he's been out there, but to be able to collab with him, he'd probably be my number one choice. And so when we had that opportunity, I would just, very, very happy about it.
Yeah. And it kind of like reaffirmed all the hours that we put into it in college. And when we saw like no like feedback, little feedback compared to now, you know, we were posting videos for a very small audience before we graduated. And then just to see us, or to experience working with MrBeast and what he's accomplished, it made us feel like we were doing something right, and that we were meant to be doing, at least for somewhat, what we were doing, I guess.
Yeah, you guys mentioned in that video too that I referenced that you were spending time with the crew that MrBeast used for his. Obviously, he has a very, to this point, very extensive production crew, and it's very produced. It's, millions upon millions of views every time. You get a little bit more money to put back into the show, right? Mm-hmm. When you guys are spending time with the crew and discussing stuff and going back and forth with Jimmy, what were some of the takeaways you got for the behind the scenes, the technical aspect of it, or maybe even just a general philosophy from them and their crew that really stuck with you from that day?
Their team is just so on top of everything. And I guess what I took away is, like, when they have an idea, they don't think about like, oh, we can't do that. They think about like, okay, how can we do that? Because they have someone for every possible like job, I guess, for a shoot, or for a setting up a shoot, and they make it happen. They figure out what do you want to do? All right, let's do it. It's not like, what can we do? Because they can literally do anything. It's just about what they want to do and how to do it right. And so I guess what I took away was, like, if you really want to do something, like, you can get it done. You can do it. Even if you don't have every resource, you can, do as much as you can. And I don't know, it inspired me to want to do bigger and better things.
Yeah, I remember when we first got on a Zoom call with his team, when we were talking about the collab, we were throwing out ideas, and then they're like, how about a giant 20-foot pool? And we're like, yeah, it sounds cool, but are you able to do that? We'll get on a call with our guy and we'll set it up on ECU's campus. We're like,
to have those resources, to have those resources.
Cool. Like, to have the resources. Yeah. And then we got to North Carolina, and then we just saw that they had it all set up in like 5 hours, and we're like, okay, wow, they're really on this.
Like they make it happen, and it's
And even
how big is the crew? If you don't mind,
I know there's over 100 employees.
Yeah, there were, I think, like 5 people on just a short form crew, like making his TikToks and YouTube shorts. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of like editors and accountants, and
100 people for that. Wow.
That's incredible. He has a huge, like, there's multiple warehouses.
Yeah, we got to tour his warehouse, which is gigantic.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the product of MrBeast has gone beyond those videos too at this point. Like, I guess he's got, I'm not very familiar, so forgive my ignorance here, but I know the YouTube videos. That's about it. But apparently he's got like bars now and stuff. I saw you guys taste
bar. Yep.
Yeah, if you're incorporating everything MrBeast, 100 people makes a little bit more sense. But I'm thinking of, like, just to get YouTube videos done, I'm like, I understand there's a lot. They do a lot of production. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from that. But like 100 people to produce that would be insane.
100 might include like the staff and the maintenance guy and
the people building the stuff too. You're gonna have production manager, similar to a stage manager for me. You have a lot of crew just building stuff too, right?
Right.
But it shows, like, you can really create a brand if you start with YouTube videos, like you said, the Feastable chocolate bars, and just if you have that face and have that fan base, you can really push it into other industries as well.
Yeah, like if you had a bar and a show that had a little bit to do about drinking, if you had a beer on tap that, like, people should try, like that would be like really cool, right? Okay, so again, we're talking about bringing it to this show a little bit and to this audience. I just before I let you guys go, and I hope we can continue to talk real quick. Actually, what you guys mentioned a collab with Drinks with Johnny. Did you have any ideas, or did you like? Was there any idea where you just like, well, let's see what this guy says?
I mean, admittedly, I'm a huge fan of Avenged, and and of the podcast too. I've been watching it for a while, so I don't know. I just wanted to, in any fashion, any way, shape, or form, figure something out. Yeah. I mean, I would love to brainstorm on that.
Yeah, if you're on board, I'm sure we could figure out something great.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the very least, some sort of giveaway of some sort that I can pull together with the bench and Drinks with Johnny and stuff. We could do something cool there. Or I would like to. I mean, that's just face value. I'd like to have a lot more fun with it. Like we can. Hey, how far can we do drinking games with these people? Or like, is that out of the question?
It's TikTok is kind of weird about drinking. Like, you see, like there'll be like a random account that posts drinking and it's fine, but like a more like established account posts drinking and like it'll get taken down.
Yeah.
So a little bit.
We'll put the drinking one on my account because it's a lot.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then we'll do the highbrow stuff with you. We'll do the lowbrow stuff with Drinks with Johnny TikTok. And we'll do the highbrow stuff with the Are You Kidding TV.
Yeah, there's a way around it for sure.
Yeah, we'll figure some stuff out. Like I said, I'll send an email to who got us in contact, and with my information, we'll stay in touch after that. But you brought up being a fan of Avenged Sevenfold. I appreciate that. Thank you. But in the interest of, a lot of the listeners here come here for a little bit of music talk sometimes. Where are some of your, early and today artists that you guys are listening to?
Sure. Well, on the subject of Avenged, I think I got into y'all. I was at the beach with some cousins going back to the filming thing, and I think one of them had Guitar Hero 2, which I think it's Beast and the Harlot on that.
Beast and the Harlot was on that one, yeah.
And I think that's the first song that I heard of Avenged Sevenfold, and I was just like, what am I listening to right now? It was just the harmonies and I don't know how to even describe it. Just the intricity, whatever word. There's so much going on at one time, which I later found out was the whole album and the whole discography of music that y'all had. And so I think it was y'all really got me into metal and hard rock, and I started to branch off from there. And
what were you listening to before, though? If we were the introduction to hard rock, what were you listening to?
I was listening to Metallica. I remember in back at home, I would listen every like 9 p.m. There was a mandatory Metallica on the radio.
Oh yeah, KLOS.
Yes. So I remember every night I would just lay in bed at 9 p.m. and make sure to listen to mandatory Metallica.
Oh yeah.
And my parents were like questioning why their son was listening to metal, but they're okay with it now.
What would they have you listening to? Where did they influence at a younger age when you were listening to music? I know, like my parent, everyone has music growing up in their house, obviously, and it's usually the parents or older sibling playing music and whatever it may be, and that's kind of your first introductions into music.
Sure.
So what was playing in your house before all this?
It was Bruce Springsteen, Tom Petty, The Who, Aerosmith, and
classic rock.
Kansas, just all that kind of stuff. And it basically went for me, like my favorites, it went from Aerosmith to Metallica, and then I found you guys, I found some other bands, and then I really was mostly rock, metal, more heavy stuff until I got to college and I started listening to a bit more rap music. And now it's just kind of a mix of everything. Living in Nashville, you kind of have to start listening to a little country.
Oh, dude, I love Nashville for that. Oh, man. Going down on Broadway. You guys mentioned being on Broadway earlier for your show.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do. We'll discuss the collab. One time I'll be out in Nashville. We'll go have some drinks on Broadway, listen to some country music, and we'll figure out what that collab's going to be over a couple of cocktails.
1,000%.
That's the way business gets done around here. You have a couple of cocktails, we'll come up with something fucking fun.
Oh yeah,
but I love Nashville. I befriended John Rich out there, and he's got his little private bar on the second story over there. It's every musician there is freaking incredible too, by the way.
Good, yeah. It's
Like
crazy.
every bar I go into, I'm like, it's not going to be that good. And then like
Yeah.
fucking singer songwriter just blowing up, and then they talk afterward. And you talk to them a little bit, like, oh, I was on this record, I produced this record, It's like, oh, like you just live, eat, and breathe music. You don't do anything else. It's like impressive. Like, oh, I want to ask you guys. You guys are out social. Now I'm getting off topic. We'll come back to this in a second. But you guys have done that. Was it the social club? The in Nashville there. What's it called? It's like this big room. It's got like a bocce ball outside. It's a bar. It's got bowling alley in the back. It's like a social club of some kind. I don't even know if it's still there now.
A social club. I don't know. Is it it's not Pins Mechanical?
Yeah, Pins.
Yeah.
Pins sounds familiar.
It's like the mini bowling.
Yeah, it's got the mini bowling in the back. It's got like a library or speakeasy, but big open feel to it. And when you first walk in with the bar over to the left.
Yeah, that might be it. Yeah.
And then outside they got a bunch of games and stuff too.
Yeah. I think that's Pins Mechanical, yeah.
Yeah. We should go there.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that's where we could play games. We could have challenges and see what's going on.
True.
Yeah, that's good.
There we go. All right, let's get back on topic. We already talked to Joey about his musical background and where he's at now with it. How about you, Steven?
Yeah, so first I'll say Joey introduced me to Avenge back in college because every time we'd pregame for like the frat parties or bars, he'd play it. And so I definitely got into you guys then.
Okay, wait a minute, real quick. I love that it is pre-gaming for the frat parties and bars because I get a lot of, I get amped up for it when I'm going to the gym or when I'm about to play a sport or anything like that. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. You get a lot of love. It's not every day that I get, this is a notch on the old belt here, guys. I appreciate this one, that they're getting ready. They're pre-partying to Avenged Sevenfold for everyone listening at home. Before they go out, as I said, a pre-party to the frat or the bar. I love that. And
What song I would always play?
Little Piece of Heaven.
That is the pre-party song. Awesome. The song about necrophilia. You guys are going to a frat party. That is ironic, and to say the least.
When you're just like buzzing and ready to go, it was just like the perfect song to get amped up even more and then leave.
I love it. You guys are giving me a big ego for the rest of the day. You guys make everybody's day feel better. Just like even when you're not even doing your show like that. Yeah, now I'm feeling better. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go to the club now. Let's do this.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I would listen to bands like Matchbox 20, One Republic, Goo Goo Dolls, stuff like that growing up. But I'll say I am recently into country a lot more, being in Nashville. So listen to a lot of that.
Oh yeah. I mean, back to the countryside. It's so incredible. I mean, country's just different, I guess. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, the country when I was growing up, my grandmother would show me, Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers, and things of that nature. I guess that was pop country in the 70s, I guess, is what they would, a little bit of bluegrass in there. But the country today is it's just great music, great songwriting. It blurs a lot of lines. And I think finally all the other genres are kind of catching up to that too, and not pigeonholing themselves into one genre. It's like, guys, music is just music. Like, I mean, it's a very broad thing, and you can do whatever you want with it. Speaking on coming back to your guys' art, it's a very broad thing. You guys are creating video content. What does that mean? It's whatever you want to make it mean. Yeah. like you guys have a great thing going. You guys are doing fantastic work with it. I hope to continue to maybe collab with you guys and continue chatting and at least have a drink next time I'm in Nashville. But all praises go to you guys today, and thanks for coming on the show and making everybody's days feel a little bit better each time they accept a challenge or go for the money, or even just the ones at home watching on TikTok and YouTube that bring a smile to their face. I appreciate what you guys do for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Truly an honor to talk to you and to be on your show. So we
great to be
appreciate
here.
it so much, man.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here. We'll be in touch. I'll send you guys my information here shortly, and we'll figure something out cool to do down the line. Everyone at home, go check out Are You Kidding TV if you haven't already. Are you kidding that you haven't already? And continue to follow and subscribe right here on the show. Follow and subscribe Are You Kidding TV if you aren't already. I don't know why I have to say that. They got a bigger following than we do. But I guess that'll be all for this time. Until next time, as always, cheers.
Cheers, man.